Quick, is this a ghost event or a hunt? It may be hard to tell if you are new to the game, but knowing the difference between a ghost event and a hunt could mean the difference between banking that sweet, sweet high cash ghost photo and dying and losing all the items that you spent such a hard time getting. Knowing the difference between both could also mean that you can laugh at your friends when they freak out and think there is a hunt, but you know better. Just note that all of this advice will be assuming that you are not messing with the custom difficulties. Changing some custom difficulties like the hunt grace period will drastically affect this advice. Let's start out by looking at the similarities between both ghost events and ghost hunts. The biggest similarity is that they both will cause electronic equipment to malfunction. You will hear the EMF reader go off, you will see dots start blinking, cameras, video getting fuzzy. It's at that moment when you hear the equipment and stuff going crazy that you have to think to yourself, okay, am I about to be hunted or will this just be a ghost event? The next similarity is that both can cause the front door to close. Biggest difference between this is that ghost hunts will lock the front door while ghost event will cause just the front door to close. The front door will be closed during a ghost event if the ghost is near the front door when the event starts. The ghost will manifest itself during a ghost event and a ghost hunt. The biggest difference being when it manifests itself determines the difference. We will go through that later. And lastly, the ghost will make various sounds during ghost events that it can also be used during a hunt, such as a ghost crying. Now that we talked about the similarities, let's look at the main focus of the video, which is how to tell the difference. So as mentioned before, during ghost events and ghost hunts, the front door will be closed, but hearing the locking sound for the front door after it is closed will dictate whether it is a hunt or a event. So if you hear that front door lock, you better be booking off, taking off, running fast to that hiding place quicker than when somebody tells me that there is free food somewhere. Now I'm going to tell you what the best piece of advice that I can give you and the best way that I tell the difference between a ghost event and a ghost hunt. And that is when you hear a door close or a light switch off right away with the equipment malfunction, it's always going to be an event. And obviously, we're not talking about the front door closing and locking here. It's the other doors in the house that you are at when it closes. So, for instance, if you were in the nursery of Tanglewood and you heard the equipment malfunction and the door close right away, that's not the front door, you would immediately know it was a ghost event. Same thing with the light switch. If you hear the light switch off and then you see like a mist ball coming at you or you see the ghost walking towards you, it's immediately a ghost event. During the start of a hunt, the ghost will not mess with a door near you and it will not mess with the light switch. Unless, of course, you're right at the front door and it closes and locks it. But you're going to be close enough to hear that lock that you can then book it and take off running. Another difference is how quickly do you see the ghost manifest itself. So as we talked about in our hunting guide, the ghost will manifest itself after a grace period for the hunts, depending on what difficulty you are on. During ghost events, the ghost will manifest itself right away, whether it be its actual physical form or a shade form, a clear form. So if you hear that light switch off, see the ghost manifest itself immediately and start walking towards you, now is the perfect time to go ahead and snap that ghost pic. Then you can flaunt it to your other teammates if you are playing with the team, and you can say, look, I'm not scared, I took a picture of the ghost, but meanwhile, we both actually know that you were shitting yourself as the ghost was walking towards you. You already had the camera out to begin with, and your reflex just happened to take that picture, but don't worry, your secret's safe with me, and you can direct them to this video, and that was exactly how you learn the tip. The final difference between both is going to be what kind of ghost event it is, because there's some that cannot be a hunt no matter what. If you see the singing ghost event where the ghost will start humming Ring Around the Rosie or singing Ring Around the Rosie, well, that will always be a ghost event, never a hunt. Let's put that Phasmo knowledge to the test, and can you tell me which ghost is more likely to do singing ghost events than other ghosts? Comment down below if you know the answer to that. Another ghost event that will immediately give it away that it's not a hunt is a red light ghost event, and this is where everything turns red around you, and it's also can possibly bust out the lights that way. There will always be a ghost event. You can try to find the ghost in time to take that picture, but there's no need to run and hide, but we both know that that will happen anyways. And the last type of ghost event will be an airball ghost event, and this is where you have a ball of mist coming towards you and then the ghost will hiss in your ear. And here is an example of that happening. Uh-oh. And lastly, here's one way to tell that sort of takes longer than the other ways. So at the start of each investigation, the ghost will be given a random sound that will be used during a hunt. After the ghost hunts the first time, you can hear that noise. That's the same noise that will go about all in the future hunts. So if a ghost event happens and it does a different noise, then you know that that's a ghost event and not a hunt. Now you know the basic difference between ghost events and ghost hunts, and we're going to put that knowledge to the test. But before we do that, if you did find this information useful and it has helped you at all, please go ahead and like this video. It definitely helps me out and lets me know that you guys are enjoying this type of information. And now let's play Ghost Event or Ghost Hunt, where you tell me if this is a ghost event or a ghost hunt. Let's start with the first one. So this one was a bit of an easy one. Obviously, this is going to be a ghost event. Easiest way to tell is that red light ghost events will always only be ghost events and not the signaling the start of a hunt. Now, let's move on to the next clip. So this one is a little bit more difficult, but this is going to be a ghost event. Now, obviously, if I would have played the full clip, you would have heard the ghost breathe into my ear. But before we get to that point, we're trying to figure out immediately, is it a ghost event or a hunt? So the way that this was a ghost event, you immediately saw the light turn off and you heard the door close. The ghost then would start walking towards me, but you could not really see the ghost at this point. So it might have been in its shade form with a clear form. But one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you, which you saw me do, was back up and get ready, because it's always best to play it safe if you are not sure right away. Of course, the ghost trapped us in the room with the door closed and was able to breathe into our ear, making it, of course, scary, and one of the reasons why Phasmo is so awesome. Now let's move on to the next clip. This is going to be a hunt. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how could it be a hunt? I didn't hear the front door lock, which is another trick. Every time you get hunted, and make sure you unlock that front door again, otherwise you will not hear the door lock. The main way that you can tell with this is that grace period that I was discussing before, where the ghost will show itself. So you heard the noise, saw the electronic equipment malfunction, and then it took some seconds before the ghost spawned and showed itself walking towards you. That's the main way you're going to know it's a hunt. Now, let's move on to the next clip. So this is going to be a ghost event, and it goes back to how quickly we saw and heard the ghost start walking towards us. So our EMF reader went off, we immediately heard footsteps, turned around, and the ghost was already there walking towards us, which signals to us this is an event and a great chance to take that picture. And now the next clip. This is obviously a ghost hunt. So you heard the noise, saw the equipment malfunction, heard the front door lock. The ghost took a second to show itself and then started coming towards us, all signaling that we should run away and hide. Now, let's go back to that clip that we started today with and see if you could guess if this is going to be a ghost event or a ghost hunt. Yep, that's right. You used the knowledge that you gained from this video to determine that that was a ghost event. You know it's a ghost event because the ghost immediately turned off the light, made a sound, and started walking towards us. Now, if you're still struggling with what to do in a ghost hunt, I do have a video on that I recommend watching. As always, play it safe with these. If you're not sure if it's a ghost event or a hunt, it's always better to run and hide until you know for sure versus standing out in the open and dying. Hopefully this video was informative to you all. As always, happy hunting out there, and I will see you next time.